a certain corner that was top 7, not last season, but the one before. I'll say top 7-ish. James Bradberry, the New York Giants, was just released. I'm a big fan of his. I like how he plays. I think he's a great corner. Where do you think he's going to go? He still hasn't been signed, surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the most obvious releases of all time with how the Giants handled this.
Because they tried to trade him.
Nobody was going to trade for that. But yeah, like you said, James Bradberry, he's a really solid corner. He had the really good 2020. Other than that, he's just been
solid.
Well, above average.
He's been a starter at worst.
Above average with potential upside. And for cornerbacks with how many teams need these days, that's really, it's worth a lot.
Yeah.
But the number one team that came to mind for me as a fit for him is the Giants' rival, the Eagles. They've already kind of loaded up this offseason with the A.J. Brown trade, and they added Hassan Reddick and their other draft picks like Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean. And their big hole on defense right now is the cornerback opposite Darius Slay, because they lost Steven Nelson in the offseason. And Avonte Maddox is the slot corner right now. He was PFF's number 1 slot corner last year. Darius Slay was the 6th best corner in the NFL last year. And opposite him, they have, can you name these guys? I bet you can't name.
No, I genuinely have no idea.
It's Zach McPherson, Tay Gowan, and Kerry Vincent Jr. are their next 3 corners. 2 of those guys only played 2 games last season.
I actually have no idea who they are. I'm not even gonna lie.
I had to look it up for this, but that just tells you how glaring a need this is for the Eagles, and I think it would make perfect sense for them.
So that's your number 1 team. Do you have any other teams in mind? Because I have one that I think.
I do have a couple, but let's hear yours. Does it happen to be one of your favorite teams?
Well, I mean, obviously, I would say the Patriots, because we do need cornerback help outside of Jonathan Jones. But the team that I think makes the most sense would probably be the Raiders. They're in a stacked division against Russell Wilson, Mahomes, and Herbert. So you need people to guard, their receivers, tight ends, whatever, because the quarterbacks can make plays on their own, even if the receiver isn't the most open, they can still fit the ball anywhere. But the Raiders, if you look at their corners, you have Rocky Sin, who's a solid corner, but I'm pretty sure he's wicked short. Isn't he 5'9"?
Yeah, he's small.
They have Trayvon Mullen, who's pretty good.
Nate Hobbs had a good rookie year.
Yeah, but then after that, Anthony Averill, Cravon LeBlanc, Patriots preseason legend, Nate Hobbs. I feel like, you fit James Bradberry into that number 1 role next to Mullen and Rocky Sin. I think he'll fit perfectly on that defense, just because out of need as well. If you get a good corner on that team against Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Cortland Sutton, Judy, Tim Patrick, Juju, and whoever else is on the Chiefs wide receiver core. Sky Moore. Oh, Justin Ross too. They got Justin. God damn it. How do we let that happen? But whatever. I think it's a big need for the Raiders. Always has been. I feel like for the past couple years, I can't name any good corner since Woodson retired, but at the end of his career, he changed safety.
Yeah.
And I mean, Rocky Sin and Trayvon Mullen will be decent, but adding James Bradberry to that core, you can never have too many corners.
Yeah. The Raiders are actually my second team, so I completely agree here. And the Casey Hayward loss hasn't been talked about enough, but he was really good for them last year. So to lose him and not replace him at all, it's another glaring hole like the Eagles had. So he would fit in perfectly. And the Raiders, sure, they added Devontae Adams and Yannick Ngakoue, but outside of that, they haven't really done much. They made the big splash moves, but nothing really.
They didn't get Yannick Ngakoue. They got rid of Yannick Ngakoue. They got Jones.
You know what I meant. You know what I meant. But yeah, I'm tired, Joe. Okay.
Yeah, you're fine. But so I want to talk about my second team just really quickly. Obviously, it's the Dolphins, the Patriots. No, their corners are stacked.
The Jets.
No. So the Patriots, they have Malcolm Butler and Jalen Mills listed as their number 1 and 2 corners, with Jonathan Jones as third. Malcolm Butler is 32. Hasn't played football in a year. Don't know how I feel about that. Jalen Mills, I genuinely don't like you. Speaking of players I don't like, Derek
White. That's a common sentiment around Patriots fans.
Yeah. So James Bradberry would fit nice, obviously, because we need that. The things I wanted in the draft were a corner and linebacker. We didn't draft one
backup quarterback.
Shut up. And we didn't draft one linebacker, but we drafted Jack Jones and Marcus Jones, I believe. 2 Joneses. And I didn't really know how to feel about those picks. I still don't. I guess I'll find out come preseason. I'll look at them. But still, adding another veteran corner who's better than Butler, better than Mills, better than Jonathan Jones, because I mean Jonathan Jones is like a weird player. He's really, I don't know. I don't even know how to feel about Jonathan Jones. He's weird, but he'd be a great fit on the Patriots as well, especially with like a Belichick-led scheme. And no one doesn't fit in the Belichick scheme. You know what I mean? Unless it's a personality thing.
He'd be reunited with Joe Judge too, where he had his best season.
Exactly.
And what was I gonna say? Malcolm Butler was a solid veteran signing, just cheap to fill a hole.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
And I feel like
the Butler signing.
Yeah, I feel like Bradberry's just a better version of that. So
yeah,
why
and
not?
A little more expensive, but
yeah, but worth it.
Oh, 100%
for the talent upgrade.
Yeah.
So
I don't get me wrong. I like the Butler signing from the start because obviously, what he's done for us in the past is kind of like a home. Yeah, it's kind of like a homecoming signing. You know what I mean? Even though he's not from Massachusetts, but like it's like you started with us, you won us a Super Bowl, welcome back, we love you type of deal. But another thing, like what if Russell Wilson didn't throw that ball and they ran with Marshawn Lynch? I love me some what if stories.
Listen. I like the transition. I really do. But I had another thing on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Another team that I like for Bradberry is Washington. Obviously, there's the Ron Rivera.
So you said your second team was the Raiders. And I thought that since
I had more than two.
Continue.
There's the Ron Rivera connection. That's where Bradberry was drafted in Carolina. And Washington gave up the most passing touchdowns in the NFL last year, 34. They had the 5th worst net yards per attempt allowed, the 5th worst passing DVOA, and the 5th worst EPA per dropback. So obviously Washington's not really going to do much, but it's a whole, there's the connection.